2025 is barely halfway over, and somehow it's already scarier than your worst nightmares. Anyway, if you prefer life to feel like a Dark Souls playthrough, today on Top 2 Day, I prepared 10 of the most disturbing films of 2025. From fresh horror experiments to movies that don't just scare you, they make life feel even harder. If you enjoy that kind of challenge, this list is for you. Let's go.
Verden er et frygteligt sted. Men vi bliver nødt til at tro på, det ikke er sådan.
Number 10. The Girl with the Needle, 2025. Let's start with probably the strongest and most serious film on the list. Caroline, a young woman in post-World War I Copenhagen, is pregnant, alone, and desperate. Her husband is missing, her life is falling apart, and in sheer desperation, she tries to abort herself with a needle. Looking for help, she puts her trust in someone who seems kind, but the price of that help is far beyond anything she's prepared for. Caroline's hope turns into dread, and the film never lets her or you breathe again. Shot entirely in black and white, every shadow, every frame, every glance drips despair. This is human cruelty, trauma, and moral collapse, all wrapped into one crushing, unforgettable experience. Based on true events, the film is inspired by the crimes of Dagmar Overby, a Danish woman who killed babies she promised to adopt for desperate mothers. While Caroline is fictional, her story captures the horror and moral complexity of that dark time, making the film both terrifying and uncomfortably real. Highly recommended, especially if you're a fan of black and white cinematography and intense, emotionally heavy films.
Listen. Listen.
Number 9. Bring Her Back, 2025. Bring Her Back, the second full-length horror from Australian brothers Danny and Michael Philippou, the minds behind the YouTube channel Raka Raka, and the 2022 breakout hit Talk to Me. After their father suddenly dies, step-siblings Andy and Piper are placed in the home of Laura, a grieving foster mother whose own daughter drowned. Laura seems kind at first, but soon her true plans surface, a dark ritual aimed at bringing her deceased daughter back to life. Andy and Piper realize too late that they are somehow drawn into the ritual themselves, becoming unwilling participants as reality twists around them. It's intense, unsettling, and emotionally sharp. A horror I highly recommend for anyone who loves psychological terror done right. Number 8. The Plague, 2025. This tense psychological thriller from first-time director Charlie Pollinger takes place at an all-boys summer water polo camp in 2003. The story follows 12-year-old Ben, socially anxious and desperate to belong, until he befriends Eli, a lonely outcast that everyone cruelly claims carries a plague. What begins as a cruel ritual escalates into real horror as teasing and bullying spiral out of control, blurring the lines between a game and something far more sinister. Joel Edgerton appears in a supporting role and also serves as producer, lending weight to a cast of new faces. The Plague is a haunting look at masculinity, peer pressure, and the terrifying power of groupthink. Hard to watch, but impossible to forget.
I guess I'm next. I should never have come here.
Number 7. Good Boy, 2025. This isn't your typical haunted house horror. It's told entirely from the perspective of a dog. Director Ben Leonberg cast his own Nova Scotia duck-tolling retriever, Indy, as the film's lead. Indy and his owner Todd move into Todd's late grandfather's rural house, and Dog soon senses something deeply wrong. Using low-to-the-ground camera work, the film shows us what a dog perceives: creaking floors, rustling shadows, and a supernatural presence no human seems to fully grasp. Despite the scares, Good Boy is also about loyalty, love, and how much a pet will protect their person. And Indy's performance is so real, it'll make you believe he understands more than you think. Reviews are mixed, but if you enjoy untypical, atmospheric horror with a unique perspective, Good Boy might just be worth your time.
In that room.
Number 6. Dead Mail. Dead Mail is weird, retro, and quietly brutal. Not your typical slasher, but the kind of thriller that crawls under your skin. In the dusty 1980s Midwest, Jasper works at the post office, but not just anywhere. He's in the dead letter department. the guy who deciphers mail that can't be delivered. One day, a blood-stained, desperate plea for help shows up, addressed to no one. Jasper decides to investigate, and it drags him into something far darker than he ever imagined. A kidnapping, obsessive relationships, and twisted power games that spiral out of control. The whole film is soaked in 80s nostalgia. If you're into atmospheric, character-driven stories that simmer before they explode, this is your kind of messed up trip.
I love you. I love you too.
Number 5. Together, 2025. The viral Australian body horror you've probably already seen clips of online. The film starts Dave Franco and Alison Brie, a real married couple, portraying partners whose relationship is quietly falling apart. Tim and Millie hope a move to the countryside will save them, but they're wrong. After exploring a mysterious cave, Tim drinks from a hidden pool, and everything changes. Their bodies begin fusing together, piece by piece, creating a terrifying bond they cannot escape. As their transformation intensifies, their neighbor Jamie reveals the cave's dark secret. It was once used in a ritual meant to merge two souls into one. Together, 2025 is a haunting, unforgettable story, and also a reminder that even the strongest couples probably need a little space sometime.
Mom?
Number 4. Strange Harvest, 2025. This one feels like a true crime story, filmed as if it were a real investigation. Detectives dig into a serial killer who disappeared decades ago. But the murders weren't just violent, they were ritualistic, almost supernatural. Shot in a pseudo-documentary style, with interviews, crime scene footage, and archival materials, it tricks you into believing it could actually be real. The tension builds relentlessly, blending practical horror, surveillance-style shots, and an oppressive sense that the killer isn't just a man, he's a force. Strange Harvest is a controversial movie, but definitely interesting and eye-catching. If you're a fan of films like The Blair Witch Project or Wreck, this is a must-watch. Number 3. The Rule of Ginny Pin. Trinity Killer somehow survived Dexter's finale, and now he's slowly losing his mind in a retirement home. Just kidding, but John Lithgow plays a killer again, and this time, he's way creepier. Jeffrey Rush stars as a retired judge recovering from a stroke, trying to hold on to his dignity and control over his life. The real terror comes from Lithgow, who runs the nursing home like his own personal kingdom, using a creepy puppet named Jenny Pen to manipulate and intimidate the residents. It starts off weird, almost darkly funny, but quickly descends into psychological cruelty, paranoia, and a tense battle of wills between two extraordinary actors. I'm more than sure some viewers will find this a pure comedy rather than a disturbing experience, but there's something undeniably unique about this film. Number 2. Weapons, 2025. Yes, I know this one isn't the most disturbing on the list, but I believe it's one of the best popcorn thriller horror films of 2025. On top of that, it's deeper than it first appears. I've already talked about the hidden meanings, so you're more than welcome to check out the full breakdown of the film by clicking in the corner. So, here's the story. In a small Pennsylvania town, 17 third graders mysteriously vanish overnight. All but one disappear at exactly 2:17 a.m. Their teacher, Justine, is drawn into the investigation, but it quickly becomes clear that something far darker is at play. The film is told from multiple perspectives: a worried father, a local drifter, Justine the teacher, and others, giving it a layered, almost documentary-like depth. There are plenty of hidden meanings, some obvious, some subtle, but we won't dive into those here. In the end, Weapons has everything you need for a gripping experience. Stunning visuals, strong performances, a plot that keeps you hooked through most of the film, and several hidden ideas that you might not notice on a first watch. Highly recommended. Number 1. The Ugly Stepsister, 2025. This isn't your usual fairy tale. It's a brutal body horror reimagining of Cinderella, told from the point of view of the so-called ugly stepsister. Elvira lives under crushing beauty standards, forced by her mother to endure extreme cosmetic procedures and even swallow tapeworms to compete with her perfect sister. As she struggles for the prince's attention in a kingdom obsessed with appearance, the story explores identity, vanity, and the dark side of beauty culture. With striking visuals, twisted humor, and shocking moments of gore, The Ugly Stepsister is disturbing, satirical, and unforgettable. A fresh take on a classic tale that will stay with you long after the credits roll. So, looks like that's it. Now you've got something new to watch. What was your favorite disturbing film of 2025? If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and hit the like button. See you in the next one.